report I would bring to the court's attention. Due to late service of responses, the first petitioner in petition number in the same breath as my friend Professor Githu Muigai, who has not filed a response to an application by ISA, we would seek leadership to file the affidavit, the small further affidavit of only 44 paragraphs, which is as a result of late service, your leadership, and submissions by the first petitioner in E007. Your leadership, in terms of representation, just weighing in on what Malana friend has submitted, Mr. Professor Githu Muigai, Senior Counsel. There are only two professors and senior counsel in court, the two of us. Why can't all of them appear for the IBC? All the senior counsel can appear for IBC so that the court is richer with submissions from all parties, so that we hear the Chebukati faction, the Rere faction, and I think the court then can make a good decision. Last, your leadership. On the question of time, I just want to confirm that we only have 6 hours, like Senior Counsel Rengo said. And if Malala friend thinks that there are too many petitions, they can concede. That's all.
If may please, my lady, Honorable Chief Justice and my lords, on behalf of the petitioners in petition number 3, we were served in time by a set of documents from the IEBC, and subsequently, last night, a set of documents from IEBC. Rule 11 of this court's rules are very clear on filing and service within 4 days, and we are greatly prejudiced if documents that were filed and served outside time does not allow us a rejoinder, and then those documents now constitute part of the record. My ladies and my lords, that when you consider the issue of representation of IEBC, please take into account that in respect to petition number 3, the IEBC faction, minority faction, served us with their documents outside time, and we had no opportunity to file any rejoinder. So that whatever they filed.
Can you name the party who filed late?
It was filed by, it was served on us late. We were served last night by the law firm of GA and Company Advocates. And we received the documents under protest and did indicate. Our prejudice is we cannot file any rejoinder to all the issues they've raised.
Please repeat the particular document which was filed late and by who? Which party?
My lady, I can speak to the service. We were served last evening. They are the first and second respondents' documents filed by the law firm of G&A Advocates. The response to the petition from the same law firm, there is a replying affidavit by Michael Ouma, same law firm. The first respondent's replying affidavit filed by the same law firm. All those, and there's several volumes of volume 1, volume 2, and volume 2. Their supporting documents were served on us yesterday in the evening. And under Rule 11, they were meant to file and serve within 4 days of filing the petition. We have a 1 day to respond. We cannot respond to all those documents that they filed, and we urge this court to be guided by the case of Raila Odinga 2013, that late service of the documents on us has prejudiced us, and the information therein should be expunged from the record. That's all, my lady.
Thank you.
Sorry, my lady, if with the indulgence, I can also enumerate the pleadings which have been filed out of time. The first one is an affidavit by Odur Juma Joseph, filed in support of the first and second respondents by G&A advocates. This was filed on Monday at midnight. That is last night. The second one is an affidavit by Moses Ledama Sunkuli, and that affidavit has been drawn by the firm of Iseme, Kamau, and Maema, who are acting for the first and second respondents. This was filed yesterday, and it was filed out of time. The third one, again filed yesterday, is by the same firm of advocates, Iseme, Kamau, and Maema, for the first and second respondents, and it was filed yesterday. Affidavit by Balang Gideon. The fourth one is also filed, this was filed on Sunday, the 28th. This one is an affidavit of Catherine Wambui Kamau. This one has been filed by, I believe, the same firm of advocates. This was filed on Sunday. The other one is an affidavit filed by the firm of Kithuri Kindiki and Associates. This was filed today. And there's an affidavit, a further affidavit by Raymond Kiprotich Betts. The other one is an affidavit sworn by Martin Wachira Nyaga, an affidavit drawn by the firm of Iseme, Kamau, and Maema for the first and second respondents. This was filed on the 30th of August. This was filed today. Today at 2:45 a.m. The other one is an affidavit by Martin Wachira Nyaga, drawn by the same firm of advocates, Iseme, Kamau, and Maema for the first and second respondents. It was filed today, 30th of August, 2022 at 2:45 p.m. The other one is also an affidavit sworn by Hilda Kavonga, drawn by the same firm of advocates for the first and second respondents, Iseme, Kamau, and Maema, filed on Sunday at 11 p.m. And the last one is an affidavit sworn by Martin Wachira Nyaga, drawn by the same firm of advocates, Iseme, Kamau, and Maema, on behalf of the first and second respondents. This was filed on the 28th of August, 2022. And as far as we're concerned, they're filed out of time. They leave the court.
Your Ladyship, we may actually go into a wrong filed late and only taking certain documents and not all of them. As I was sitting here, I've been served with a petitioner's further affidavit filed today, filed yesterday, 29, and this is an affidavit that has been filed by the firm of Kinoti and Kibe Advocates. I think there is need now to take a stock of what has also been happening and which may not have been quite clear to the court. The e-filing system has had tremendous difficulties, and this you will confirm from the registrar, and I think all parties where we tried to file, we had challenges, and that took a bit of time. But to me, because we all look first at our own self-interest, the beginning point is the response filed by the firm of ISA on 26th August, and which takes the form of a new petition. That would be the beginning point, because if you are to allow that, then that petition will stand unresponded to date, because I could not respond to a petition filed outside the 7 days. So as you consider all these rival arguments, allowing some and disallowing the others, I think the most fundamental would be the status of that response, which is in the nature of a new petition. Once that is resolved, the other petitions in my submission would be dealt with quite easily. That is all, Your Ladyship.
My lady, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, my lords, my ladies, on behalf of the first and second respondents, that is the chairperson of the IEBC, Ms. Wafula Chebukati, and the IEBC itself, I would want to mention just 3 quick issues in response to the issues that have been raised. The first, my name is Eric Gumbo. The first issue, my lady, is that just as has been indicated by Melanet Senior, Fred Ngatia Senior Counsel, the IT infrastructure of the judiciary and the portal upon which these documents are supposed to be filed had a big problem on Saturday. We did an email to the judiciary, got a confirmation that indeed the system was slow. And so that is the first reason why a number of documents came in late. Number 2, a number of these affidavits that have been alluded to before you this morning are affidavits that arose out of a response to affidavits that were filed by the same parties who are seeking to strike out these affidavits themselves. In particular, we got further affidavits from one John Gidongo. We got a further affidavit from one Arnold Ochieng. We got another affidavit from one George Joroge. And finally, one John Wesonga. These affidavits were filed way after the petition had been filed. They raised new issues. Specifically, they raised issues touching on the IT infrastructure of the IEBC. The most responsible thing to do, my lady and my lord, was for us to then do the affidavits. In fact, before they came in to raise the concern, we had ourselves wanted to raise this as a preliminary issue with the court, so that we get directions. Because after we responded to the issues that they raised in their own further affidavits without leave, they again yesterday filed further affidavits seeking to now respond to the affidavits that we had filed responding to the issues they raised out of time. What is most interesting is that even in the affidavits that they filed as late as yesterday, they still raised new issues seeking to expand the four corners of the petition that is currently before the court, which then has the effect of making that petition mutate in form and character. Now, that said, my ladies and my lord, from where we sit, because of the significance of the issue at hand, we had taken the pragmatic approach to say that even though they served us late yesterday, that is late last night, we worked into the wee hours this morning and did our draft responses to those issues, so that if the court be minded to consider those issues, because I think some of them are pertinent to be able to go to the root of what we are dealing with, then those affidavits could be put in place. We'd be allowed to file those, the ones that we had not served, responding to the areas that they raised in the affidavits yesterday. In the alternative, that then the affidavits that they filed yesterday should be struck off, so that then we are not prejudiced ourselves. But secondly, and perhaps more importantly, because there is now no clarity as to which affidavit was filed in time, perhaps the best approach would be to ask the parties to file formal applications where they raise the concerns with specific documents, and we'll have an opportunity within this day today to demonstrate whether or not any of the affidavits was served out of time. I think that would give us clarity in such a way that no party would be prejudiced. I am most obliged.
Ms. Angombo, those affidavits were cited by Senior Counsel Orengo.
Yes.
Mr. Ngatia, as senior counsel, you ought to know how to conduct yourself.
Affidavits which the Chief Justice has asked are not the ones that were enumerated by learned counsel, Mr. Orengo. They are the new affidavits that were filed and served yesterday are as follows. The first one is an affidavit by Martha Karoa, Senior Counsel, of 28th August and served yesterday. The second one also by Martha Karoa of 27th August and sworn on 28th, and we received it yesterday. Celestine Anyango Opio, sworn on 28th August and served yesterday. George Joroge, sworn on 28th and served yesterday. John Mark Githongo, sworn on 28th and served yesterday. Edgar Ouko, sworn 28th, served yesterday. Benson Wesonga, this was served yesterday. Yes, sworn 28th and served yesterday. Arnold Oshieng, 28th is the date of swearing, served yesterday. John Githongo, once again, 28th August, date of swearing and service yesterday. Those are the ones that prompted a fury of activity on our part to try and respond to them. I'm in the same position as learned counsel. We try to work very hard, but by the time again we try to file, the system did not allow us to file. So we have new matters which have been raised, which we have not responded to. May I apologize to my Lord, Supreme Court Judge, and thank you for reminding me yet again. I am sorry, the whisper was not meant for the court, but to learned counsel. Thank you.
My lady, the Chief Justice, you had asked a question about the specific affidavits. My learned senior, Fred Ngatia, senior counsel, has given the list of those affidavits. In fact, the ones that have been served on us are the ones from John Gidongo, Arnold Ochieng, John Deroge, and Benson Wesonga. And my lady, I just wanted to mention that so that we are able to contextualize these affidavits, when we were served with the petition, we had a specific time within which to respond. We responded in time and served those responses. When the petitioners saw our responses, without the leave of the court, they filed further affidavits. Now, when those affidavits were served on us, we thought that perhaps instead of coming to us for leave, we do the pragmatic thing of responding to them, then we come and have them formally, we can get directions from the court on how to deal with them. Because it would have meant that we'd be making an application for leave today to file in further affidavits. It also then means that if we are to get to the four corners of the petition, then we must get back to the first date in time. After filing our responses, what came up? The new affidavits. How do we deal with them? That would be the question. I had given a proposal that because some of them seem to raise a number of important issues, and we have satisfactorily responded to those issues, we could deem all those affidavits as properly served, filed and served, so that then we forget about the side issues and go to the petition. More specifically, now that you have given us the issues that we need to be addressing you on. I am most obliged, my lady.
I'm sorry, this may be a back and forward, but there are directions which were issued by the court. This, I think, was on the 23rd of August 2022, and the directions required, if I don't go through all the directions, it required the respondents to file and serve their responses together with their written submissions and bundle of authorities on or before 5 p.m. on the 27th of August 2022. The petitioners then were directed to file and serve their rejoinder, if any, on the 28th of August 2022. So the affidavits they've been referring to, which were filed by the petitioner, were rejoinders to the affidavits that filed on the 27th of August 2022. So looked at in that context, we were quite in order to file those rejoinders in terms of affidavits yesterday on the 28th, not yesterday, 28th. And I think there was a further directions that there will be a close of pleadings on the 28th of August 2022. So that is the context in which I brought the question of the late filing of these or the affidavits I enumerated. As to the infrastructure of the court, we were in a similar position, but when we made inquiries with the registrar, we were told that if we had any problems with filing any documents online, then you could physically take the documents to the registry, and that's what we did. And there were absolutely no problem about it. In fact, because of those particular problems, in cases where we were required to file by 5 p.m., I think on inquiry we were told we could file the documents same day, but on or before 9 p.m. So I think the registry was quite helpful, and anybody who wanted to file a document within time, there were absolutely no problem at all insofar as the registry is concerned. But probably the court should look at all these documents, put them in context, and then make a decisions. But our position is that the affidavits that I mentioned were filed out of time and without leave of court. We need a demonstration that what we filed on the 28th was not in line with the directions that were given by the court.
Thank you. We are hoping we could bring this to an end so that...
Good afternoon, Lady Chief Justice, the Deputy Chief Justice and judges of the Supreme Court. My name is Mansour Issa. I am being led by Senior Counsel Paul Muite. My ladies, my teacher, Professor, and my People Master, Senior Counsel, Professor Guido Muigai, has alluded to the application that was filed by the firm of Iseme Kamau and Maema in the wee hours of yesterday. That application was filed on us at 3 in the morning. I think the first one. We had seen copies of that application on the portal before it was served, and we worked yesterday in the evening with the vice chairperson of the IEBC, to prepare responses to that application before it was filed. And when we tried to file the application today morning, the registry indicated they had not received the application that both parties have referred to. And indeed, Senior Counsel Kamau Karuri has confirmed the hard copies of the application had not been presented to the court. So, my ladies, as you retire to consider that application, we have filed our responses online and would kindly request that the hard copies and the submissions that our clerks have presented to the court be considered, because there was very late service, and I believe it's because of the difficulties with the e-filing. It was for quite a while yesterday down, but they should have sent us advance course. But there was no prejudice because we managed to see it in good time, as alerted by my learned friend, Ms. Joaquin Bosche. She was trying to file something. When she saw those applications, she called me. I was still reading, and we managed to file our responses to those applications. So we will abide by the directions given by the court, because we had filed all our responses on behalf of the commission as directed by the commissioners. Thank you, and have a good afternoon.
Melody, if I may. My name is Kibe Mongai. I appear in petition number 8. I rise in order to speak to two things. Number one is that my learned colleague, Mr. Ngatia, has spoken about a petitioner's further affidavit that he claims was filed and served late. My lady and my lords, this further affidavit was sworn on 28th and served on them before midnight of that day, the Sunday that we were entitled to do our rejoinder. They were served, all of them. But more importantly, the affidavits of the IEBC and Mr. Afula Chepukati were served on us on Sunday at noon. So there was a questions of the time when our 24 hours was going to run. But despite all that, we filed the affidavit on time and served, but we could not be able to file because there was a problem, and we were told, and the following day when we presented document and we explained, they were admitted, so that is only referring to the issue of the physical copy. And the original trigger was by IEBC, but we decided not to break bones, and we've not said IEBC served us with anything late. It came on Sunday, and we responded. And therefore, as far as we are concerned, the only issue that we did yesterday, and we filed, but it requires that just to be submitted to the court, our submissions. But they were still done within the 24. System was down. We were told as soon as it is there, file it and then present. So that as far as we are concerned, all our documents are in place and filed on time. Having finished with that issue of petition 008, it is my hope that no directions may have been given without me getting to know of that issue. But the court will note that there has been correspondence between my office and at least with the registrar with regard to petition number 22, A025, between Kenneth Jagejiro and 10 others versus Honorable William Samoei and Honorable Rigathi Gachagua. May the court note that that petition that was filed on the 5th of August this year relates to the issues of the validity of the nominations of Honorable William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua.
Yes, with utmost humility, Mr. Kibe, we are dealing with Article 140, matters that arose from the dispute on whether the president-elect was validly elected. Those matters were filed before the elections and before the declaration. So you wait for the ruling, it will be delivered.
It will be delivered.
It's a separate matter from what we are dealing with. So let's not go there.
It's okay, my lady. I'll go by that. Thank you.
We want to bring this to an end on the three issues that have been addressed to the court.
With your kind permission.
That is the time allocation, the presentation of the two factions of the IBC, and the documents that have been filed in court with or without leave of the court. The court would wish to adjourn to consider those matters and resume at 3:30. I will also kindly ask the parties to furnish the registrar with those documents, because documents have come, so many documents have come, so that we can be able to look at them and deliver our further directions at 3:30. Because we are just going around the three issues. The three issues of the time allocation, of the documents filed, which were found late, which were found without leave, allow us to go and consider that, and the issue of representation.
Yes, Malodi. Just one item, Malodi, which...
You can't be addressing the court, two of you.
Yes. My lady, with your kind permission, my name is Kamau Karori, Senior Counsel. My lady, I just needed to comment on just two issues. The first is the allegation that the application that was filed to strike out the name of ISA and company advocates from the record, that it was not, the physical applications were not presented. The correct position, my lady, is that they were presented, but we were informed by the registry that in view of the fact that the court was sitting today, that the appropriate thing to do would be to come and seek leave of the court before the documents are received at the registry. So it is not true that we did not serve those documents. Secondly, my lady, regarding the documents, there's also an important point, my lady, to point out, which is that the affidavit filed by John Githongo, he had filed a response first, then he filed a further affidavit out of time, and in that further affidavit, he introduced completely new documents. In fact, as you will notice when you retired right to your ruling, he now withdrew the initial logs that he had attached to his affidavit and filed completely new ones after we had responded to his previous affidavit. The only option available to us, having been served with these new documents, was now to respond to them. You'll also notice, my lady, that the documents filed by Arnold Oginga again, they are completely new documents from the ones that had been filed earlier. The prejudice is on the basis of the document that had been served upon us. We had already responded and filed submissions because our time for filing submissions was very limited. Now we have a situation where new documents have been filed. We have no opportunity of responding to them in submissions because our submissions have already been filed. The only option was for us to file an additional affidavit explaining or answering these new documents and assertions that have now been made. And that is why the documents that were filed out of time on account of the system issues that my learned friend has alluded to. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you.
With your permission, Your Ladyship, my lords, mine are separate and different issues. The first one relates to the orders you made for scrutiny this afternoon.
Please, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Katwa Kigan. For the first petition, together led by my senior, Mr. Ngatia. It relates to
respondent. You mean?
Yes, first respondent. I apologize for that. It relates to the issue of scrutiny that is supposed to start this afternoon. We would like to request that the court takes on board consideration of the issues of security, considering what happened at the National Tally Center, my lords and your lordships. And we would also like that the issue of the location where it is to be done be addressed. And we would prefer, considering the security issues also, that camera surveillance be addressed. My lords and my ladies. The second issue, my lords and my ladies, is the Attorney General to introduce two affidavits, and we would the two affidavits introduce very substantial facts that go to touch very seriously on our case, and we would like and pray for leave to respond to those affidavits, considering that you've allowed them in. Thank you, my ladies and my lords.
My Lady, the Chief Justice and judges of the court, my name is Charles Kanjama for the ICT professionals who've been admitted as amici. I have also two requests to make to the court. One is that in respect of the scrutiny that will be taking place, that the amici whose assistance to the court is to give independent observation of the election technology be allowed to participate and also be allowed thereafter to prepare and present their own independent report so that they can effectively assist the court. Second, in relation to the technology affidavits that have been filed late in the last 2 days, the amici in their initial report had responded to the initial technology affidavit so that they could give an independent perspective from ICT professionals. Would request that they also be granted leave so that they can supplement that report by also responding to the subsequent technology affidavits which this court is considering whether to admit. That is all.
My Lady Chief Justice, my name is Mituga, petitioner in petition 004. I also have a problem of experience by the rest in filing documents when there was a system downturn. Our rejoinder was supposed to be filed on 28th, but due to system problems, although we filed our set of documents serving as a rejoinder, we presented them to court yesterday when they were stamped as filed out of time. In considering the rest of the document filed out of time, we asked the court also to consider the fourth respondent's document, supplementary submissions, the supplementary affidavit, and list and bundle of documents dated and filed on 28th of August 2022.
Worship, why, in view of all these counter arguments, the petitioners, respondents filing late, claiming, Your Lordship, if the court could just give us 1 hour to regularize so that no party then excludes anything from the record, that would serve the interest of justice. And I submit, Your Lordship, that then no party will feel that they've been locked out. So we don't go back to Raila 2013, where huge documents are locked out, and we'll find fairness in this court.
Thank you. You know, our time is not elastic. There was an order for scrutiny from 2 p.m. So we really have to adjourn now.
Clarity on the role of the amici. It would appear that they want to go beyond their role.
Senior counsel, we will deal with that. We are capable of dealing with it. We already gave directions that we will rely on the amici brief that is already on record. Rulings have been issued to that effect. And we will reconvene at 4 p.m. because of the many issues that have been raised.